Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. We're playing a special mission today called Finders Keepers, and we're playing in a very dense city terrain. We're not using the city fight rules as such because they were designed for 4th edition, but you just use the standard rules and have lots of buildings. The mission, as I say, Finders Keepers, uses special secret objectives. You'll see down here, we start the game, we have 5 poker chips with objective written on the back and 5 poker chips marked with an X. At the start of the game we will randomly take one of these away without either person knowing which one it is, and then the 9 remaining ones will be placed on the battlefield in kind of like a 3x3 pattern. So there'll be one around here, one here, one here, one there, one there, one there, one there, one over there, and one over there. We'll show them to you when we get them down, and neither player will be able to see what's written on the back of them. At the end of any of your movement phases, with any of your denial units within 3 inches of the objective, you can have a look underneath the objective marker and see if it's a proper objective or if it's a cross. Your opponent does not get to see what you reveal. At the end of the game, all the objective marked ones count as proper objectives, all the X's do not. So it's kind of like a game where you have to go out, find where the objectives are and protect them, and you can try and play a little game of bluff with the opponent, trying to make him think that he wants to come and contest one of the ones and such. So it's just a little fun way to play with objectives. There's one extra secondary mission to go with this, and that's you score an extra victory point if you manage to, during the course of the game, look at all 9 of the objectives. It's another incentive to make you go for all of them, and it also increases your bluffing chances because your opponent knows you have a reason to look at all of them, whereas if we didn't have that in, you're likely to stop once you've figured out where all the objectives are. We're playing 1850 points today, and we're playing Grey Knights versus Eldar. Let's move on to the armies. Okay, so the past few weeks I've been furiously painting away at my new Chaos Space Marine army, so what I'm bringing today, my very unpainted Grey Knights. Always the way it goes, a bit of a hobby butterfly. So we're starting off, as you would well imagine, with Inquisitor Gautier's. We've rolled up Psychic Powers already and he's done pretty well. He's got Misfortune and Prescience, which is a good combination. I also have an Auto Malleus Inquisitor. He's got Terminator Armour, a Psy Cannon, and he's a Psyker, and he has also rolled up Misfortune, so 2 of my favourite powers there. I've got 5 standard Grey Knight Terminators in troop choice. They've got a hammer and a Psy Cannon and I think 3 halberds. Cotiers obviously lets me take Acolytes as troops, and they fill out most of the rest of my slots. I have a squad here which is riding around in a Storm Raven. The Storm Raven has twin Hurricane Bolters, Assault Cannon, Cybolt Ammo, Multi-Melter. And the squad inside consists of 5 Death Cult Assassins, 2 Crusaders, they're the guys with Storm Shields, 2 Acolytes with Melter Guns, and 2 Bullet Shield Acolytes with nothing extra. We have 2 identical squads over here. We have a set of 5 Acolytes all with Storm Bolters, and they have a Jokero Weaponsmith with them. And the same there. I don't actually use the Jokero Weaponsmith models because I don't particularly like orange monkeys. I have squat Techno Savants, who are little squat Servitor models. Each of those squads is riding around with Chimera with multi-laser heavy flamer. We have a Psy Rifle Dread at the back, so 2 twin-linked autocannon, Cybolt ammo. And then we have 2 identical Dread Knights. They've got the Personal Teleporter and Heavy Incinerator. We also have in fast attack 5 Interceptors. They have a Heavy Incinerator or a normal Incinerator. They're not strong enough to pick up a heavy one. And rounding out the squad, because I had about 15 points left over, I have a cheesy squad of 3 Acolytes, 2 of them with bolt guns. And that's my 1850 points.
Okay, I'm playing my Eldar yet again. Bit of an Eldar fanatic at the moment. I'm using the Iron Den supplement today. I am led by a Spirit Seer. The Spirit Seer has Enhance and Drain and the Iron Den Primaris power, whatever that's called.
Spirit make better, maybe.
Yeah, Wraith Enhancer. Nothing in Elite. In the troops I have taken a unit of 20 Guardians with 2 Bright Lances. I've taken 2 units of Wraith Guard with D cannons, Wraith guns, Wraith cannons, and they're going to be in these Wave Serpents, which have got Shuriken cannons and twin-linked scatter lasers and holofields, of course. And then I have 3 units of 6 jet bikes. Each unit has 2 Shuriken cannons in it, so all 6 troop slots used. That left just enough points for 3 fast attack choices. I've got 2 units of 9 Warp Spiders, 1 unit of 6 Swooping Hawks, and in heavy support I have a Night Spinner with a Shuriken Cannon and holofields. And that's it. Okay, so we've set up and we're ready to unleash hell. I won the dice roll and have elected to go second. Mike has set up his 2 Dread Knights here and here. This Dreadnought's being backed up by a Chimera. And then moving along the line, here's his Terminator squad with both of his HQs. The Dreadnought's sneaking away inside that ruins there, hoping I don't notice it.
Damn it, he saw it.
There's a second Chimera with more Acolytes, and the Interceptor squad's at the back there. Obviously his Storm Raven's in reserve, as is his cheeky little 3-man. On the Eldar side, I've tried to refuse a flank as best I can, but I have rather a lot of models, so they're rather bunched up, which may mean I suffer horrible flamey death, we'll have to see. But I have, moving down the line, a Wave Serpent with some Wraith Guard, 2 units of jet bikes, then the Wave Serpent with the other Wraith Guard and the HQ. There's the Guardians, the Night Spinner, the Swooping Hawks who are getting ready to take to the skies, and the 3rd unit of jet bikes. In order to try and refuse the flank, I've had to put both my Warp Spiders into reserve.
Grey Knight, turn 1. Because Paul had refused flank, obviously this side of my army wasn't going to do a whole lot, so I dedicated to picking up and seeing what the objectives were. If Paul can move out of the way just a second, I shall reveal what objectives we have seen. So over here, I have revealed that one, as you can see that one there. That was with my Dread Knight there. Over here, this Chimera came over, positioned himself so he's hoping not getting too many side armour shots, and the troops got out, and we revealed that one there. Over in the centre, the Dread Knight moved forward to here and fired its flamer over to there and killed... Did he kill 1 jet bike?
He killed 1, yes.
Yeah, he killed 1 jet bike. These Terminators cast prescience on themselves, moved forward and shot an awful lot of stuff into the jet bikes. Only managed to kill 2 because Paul was rolling good saves, but then Paul failed his leadership check at the end of the phase, and because they were quite close to the edge of the board, they scarpered off, giving me first blood, which was nice. I'd left 1 dude slightly back here so I could look at this objective, which is that. Over here, but because Paul's obviously got his big bunched up units over there, I didn't want to teleport forward my guys with their flamer, because they would go forward, kill a few things and then die in return. So they just stayed here to see what this objective was. So maybe you could only check objectives at the end of your movement phase, so you can't like move on objective, look at it and then run to another objective. This Chimera span round sideways, and the Jockero at the back took a las cannon shot over at the, what's that, Night Spinner? Yeah. I managed to hit, but I failed to pen, which was a little annoying. And other than that, didn't really do much on my turn. Waiting for obviously the Storm Raven to come on. I've got about 300 points sitting on that, and quite a lot of my firepower. It's going to be a strange game due to the fact that Paul's kind of like in the 12-inch range bracket, but it's more manoeuvrable, but I'm in the 24, so it's a bit cagey at the start.
Eldar turn 1. We didn't move too far. These guys moved up to scout out this potential objective. And these guys also had a look at this
do you want to show the objectives?
I was thinking maybe to keep the tension, we'll see what the Grey Knights can see, and then we'll find out.
I like it, Tricksy Eldar.
The Tricksy Eldar trickery even works on the viewers at home.
Ooh.
These jet bikes jumped out and jumped back again, and so did these after taking some shots. Everyone else shuffled around at the back so that the holofield's activated. And then we did some extremely dismal shooting. The Night Spinner had a good shot. He managed to get a penetrating hit on the Chimera, which means it can't shoot next turn. And then I also managed to take out 2 of the, I don't know if you can see them or not, 2 of the Interceptors that are in this building. So they're down to how many?
Down to 3. They've still got their heavy incinerator though.
Oh, so they need to make a leadership check.
They do, quickly here. They're okay.
They're okay. And then the rest of the army shot into the Dread Knight. And we managed a pretty impressive number of 13, made him make 13 saves.
Wounds with the 2 Wave Serpents.
But no actual wounds done, and the bikes didn't manage to do any. And the... Who else still? Oh yes, these jet bikes here managed to dink the Chimera a second time, so that's taken 2
And your 2 Bright Lances rolled double free on pinning a...
Yeah, 2 Bright Lances into the Dreadnought, didn't scratch the paintwork, and that was it for me.
Okay, Grey Knight turn 2. I kind of pushed forward across the board here and took the fight to the Eldar. So first of all, over this side they got back in their Chimera, moved forward slightly. I managed to snap fire the Jockero's las cannon into this Wave Serpent. I managed to hit, managed to pen, but Paul made his cover save. The Dread Knight that was here jumped over to here, and the Dread Knight that was there jumped over here. I managed to misfortune onto the jet bikes that were here, but I failed my other 2 psychic powers for a combination of Deny the Witch and rolling too high. So the shooting wasn't that effective from the Terminator squad, but it was just effective enough, combined with the flamer from this Dread Knight, to wipe out all 6 of the jet bikes. This Dread Knight then made a charge attempt on this Wave Serpent, hoping to smash it up in close combat, but I failed to get through this little gap. It's slightly wider, meaning I had to move through dangerous terrain, and I got a 5 where I needed a 6, so failed the charge. I fired my Flamer before that though, and I managed to do a hull point to the Wave Serpent, which is quite nice. I fired my Dreadnought over there. I moved sideways so I could get a better cover shot onto this Wave Serpent, because it fired its gun, it didn't have a shield this turn, and I managed to do a crew stunned, so it can't move or shoot, and the Wraith Guard inside not allowed to fire at all, not even snapshots, giving a bit more of a lease of life to my Dread Knight out here. The Guardians here, I decided to have a go at with my 3-man squad of interceptors. Because Paul had quite a lot of firepower over here, I thought if they were sitting at the back for one more turn, they would just get killed, and I really wanted to get a Flamer shot in on the Guardians at the very least, so I used my 30-inch jump move, plonked down in the middle of the ruin, and managed to take out 6 of the Guardians. They promptly made their leadership check though, which obviously that's an average roll, so not too bad, but I was hoping for another bad roll from Paul there. I managed to take out 1 more of the Guardian jet bikes with fire from... what was that fire
Chimera,
from?
I think.
Ah, the Chimera. It snap-fired its multi-laser into one, which was pretty good. So overall, a not bad turn there from not particular large volume of fire, did quite a lot of damage, wiping out another jet bike squad. Obviously Paul's got his Warp Spiders and his Swooping Hawks come on next turn, so the times they are a-changing, I suspect. Let's see what happens. Me again. Sorry, I forgot to show the objectives I looked at this turn. So my Dread Knight moved over here and looked at that one, which Paul has already looked at. And over here, these Grey Knights snuck into the Eldar camp and looked at that objective. So I've only got 2 more to look at, and then I've looked at all of them for the secret mission. These 2 over... no, sorry, that one there and that one... ah, the one over in that corner there. Might be able to do it by the end of the game.
Okay, Eldar turn 2. I managed to get both sets of Warp Spiders this turn, which was very nice. They came down here and here, and of course my Swooping Hawks were an ongoing reserve, so they came down. They landed just on this side, outside of the building here, and then ran inside. They dropped a grenade pack on the 3-man squad which were hiding in there, wiping them out. Didn't get to shoot their last blasters. This Warp Spider squad actually dropped down here-ish, and they ran over to here and shot up at the Chimera, creating that crater that you can see here, and then they managed to jump over to here. So they've had quite a turn. These Warp Spiders accidentally landed in this building, but it didn't hurt them at all. They leapt out and had a shot at the remainder of these guys, forcing them to go to ground. So they're not moving next turn. And they tried to jump, but they didn't jump very far, so we're a bit worried about Matey Boy over there. That's what's happening in Mike's backfield. Meanwhile, back in the Eldar weapons encampment, we let out first unit of Wraith Guard. I'd really hoped to be firing 2 units of Wraith Guard into the Dread Knight this turn, but unfortunately with the crew shaken result,
Stunned.
the worst one of the 2,
Yes.
we weren't able to get out at all, so we only managed to put 5 Wraith Cannons into the Dread Knight, which dealt 2 wounds. Then we unloaded 2 Wraith Serpents and the Guardian squad and managed to do another 1 wound. So I don't know how many 2+s that guy's made, but it's a hell of a lot.
At least 20.
Yeah, I think so. These jet bikes swung out and had a secret peek at this objective. We will not tell you what it is. And then they wiped out the incinerator chappie who was standing here and snuck back round to there. I wasn't quite sure what to do with the Night Spinner. I could go for the safer option of trying to do the 3rd hull point to the Chimera at the back here, but I also quite liked the idea of using the barrage rules to try and snipe out Cotes. It was pretty unlikely to work because of his 2+ lookout sir roll, but I went for it anyway. I did manage to get the hit and the 5 wounds on him, and he did fail one of the lookout sirs, but it wasn't rending, so he passed his Artificer armor save and is still up, and of course Mike made all of his other 2+s as well. So that was my turn 2.
Okay, Grey Knight turn 3. The Storm Raven with the Death Cult Assassin squad inside has arrived on the field. It jetted up there. I'd already cast Misfortune on the Wraith Guard, and I'd cast Misfortune on one of the Wave Serpents, but it made its Deny the Witch. I'd also got Prescience off on my Terminator Blob, who are holding the centre of the field. The Storm Raven opened fire. It fired its assault cannons its Cybolt bolters and 2 of its missiles into the Wraith Guard, killing 3 of them. It fired its multi-melter down into this Wave Serpent, who had fired its shield off last turn. Paul failed his cover save and it blew up, which was nice. The Terminator's back here, not needing to fire either of those targets because 2 of the Wraith Guard aren't that big a threat when they're all the way back there. They turned their fire back here and killed 4 of the Warp Spiders they could see. The 3 dudes who had gone to ground in the crater stood back to their feet shakily and fired a quick snapshot off and managed to take out another Warp Spider. So that's quite nice. That squad's down. Oh, we need a leadership tech for those and the Swooping Hawks. We are forgetful.
So the Warp Spiders?
Warp Spiders first.
They're okay.
Warp Spiders are okay.
And the Swooping Hawks?
Ah! Oh. The Swooping Hawks, you can hear the panic in Paul's voice there, the Swooping Hawks nearly ran off the table. So, this Wraith Knight here, he was over there, he jumped over and he charged into the Warp Spiders. They managed to do him a wound with their Overwatch, and then he promptly killed 4 of them in combat. They tried to run away and he managed to chase them all down. Paul didn't roll particularly well on his initiative for getting out of there, so that was an awesome turn for this Dread Knight. The other Dread Knight, I should really name these guys because they've been the stars of the show so far. He ran forward, punched another Wave Serpent 5 times, it blew up, and you can see the Wraith Guard out the back. He's only got 1 wound left and there are 7 Wraith Guard around him, so it's unlikely he's going to survive, but you never know. Other stuff that happened, this Dreadnought here, he fired back at... what did he shoot at?
He shot the Wave Serpent.
Oh, he shot at the Wave Serpent back there, but didn't really do anything to it. The Chimera over here and the contents, they got a Jock Arrow in there and he gave them extra range on their Storm Bolters, so even though it's immobilised at the back of the field, it's actually got a pretty good range of fire still over the battlefield, so they fired down here at the Swooping Hawks, and between them and the multi-laser on top managed to kill 3 of the Swooping Hawks. So overall, a pretty good turn for myself.
Eldar, turn 3. The Warp Spiders who are here thought attacking a 3 wound Dread Knight with 4 of us, that probably isn't going to work, so they've pissed off 25 inches down here. Not bad speed boost on that, and that was with a pretty bad run roll as well. The Swooping Hawks decided to try something a bit unlikely, and the 3 of them jumped out of their cover, chucked a Haywire grenade, charged in, managed to put 2 Haywire wounds on the Dreadnought, but neither of them were a pen, and one of them got squished in return. Oh no, yes, one of them died to Overwatch fire in return, that's what happened. So that's a combat that's going on. The jet bikes moved up this side of the table and took some shots, but we could only get shuriken cannons into the front armour because it was before we did our jump move, so we didn't manage to do any wounds. The real problem we had was over in our fire base. We had the Dread Knight and the Storm Raven bearing down on us. So the Spirit Seer decided to Spirit Mark the Storm Raven to give me rerolls to a hit if I roll a 1 with my Wraith units. The Guardians thought, 1 wound Dread Knight, that'll be easy to take down, poured a bunch of shuriken fire into it. He had to make 3 invulnerable saves, so of course he made all of those. Luckily I had a Night Spinner on hand who managed to take it out with a shuriken cannon. I think that was probably everything that happened.
So you fired at this?
Oh yeah, so I did fire up at the Storm Raven. These 2 didn't manage to get a hit. These guys did manage to get a hit. So it's the strength 10 AP 1, so Mike decided to jink and he made another 5+ save this turn, so that jinking saved it from the Deadly D cannon. Okay, here comes the Grey Knight's turn 4.
Okay, Grey Knight turn 4. So a few things I wanted to make sure I did this turn. I really want to take out the 4 Warp Spiders that are at the back of the table because they're in amongst my backfield and my troop choices back there are not particularly clever. So over here, these guys are in there. They spread out sideways with the 2 standard dudes, and I fired 1 cheeky las cannon from my Jokero Squat Hybrid and managed to take out 1 of the visible Warp Spiders over there. I had cast Misfortune on them from the blob in the centre, the blob of 8 Terminators, and so they were re-rolling saves. So I moved my Dreadnought over here using his shunt because I felt we needed to get back in the fight, and he managed to wipe 2 more out. And then I spent most of the rest of my turn attempting to kill that last remaining darn Warp Spider. I fired the contents of the Chimera at it, and then I fired the Chimera itself, and then in the end I had to fire all of my Terminators at that one guy, but I took him out, so that was what was important. Over here, I'm not particularly worried by the 2 units of Wraith Guard because they're just slow and at the back of the table, so I can't see them doing me a whole lot of damage. My Storm Raven went down onto the ground this turn, ejected its squad of Death Cult Assassins and other various gubbins, and then moved forward 6 over here. It unloaded its guns. It had to, because it jinked last turn, it had to snap fire, but I still managed to kill 3 jet bikes. Yeah. So really good rolling on my behalf there, and really bad rolling on Paul's saves. The Death Cult Assassins actually took 3 wounds, which they took on, again, the little putzes I put in the squad to absorb overwatches and such, and then wiped out all the Guardians, so that was quite nice. And the Terminator's already gone through, and last thing happened was the combat with the Swooping Hawks and the Dreadnought. Paul managed to slap a haywire grenade onto me, and I've only got 1 hull point left, but then promptly rolled a 1. Bit of the story of his game there. So failed to deal me any damage, and I thumped a Swooping Hawk on the head with an autocannon, so I managed to take one out, but they passed their leadership. So another good turn for the Grey Knights.
Eldar turn 4. The Spirit Seer cast the power on his Wraith Guard that made them move faster. They managed to use their battle focus to run an extra inch. Unfortunately, you don't get fleet with that power. And we shot 7 Wraith Cannons into the back of this, re-rolling 1s to hit whilst it's in skimmer mode. We managed to glance it once. On the other hand, this Night Spinner had an amazing torrent. All of the... that's the noise of an amazing torrent.
I'm less scared now.
All the Death Cult Assassins and friends were all lined up in a row, having only managed to consolidate an inch or 2 after they killed the Guardians. And we wiped them, managed to kill, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. There's only 2 left in there now, so that was fantastic. And the Swooping Hawk finally managed to get a haywire grenade that worked this time. He's thrown away all his duds, and he took out the Dread Knight as well. So, oh, and also, not a bad turn actually, when you recap it all at once. The jet bikes managed to finally get down into the side armour of this Chimera and wrecked it, and then hopped back again to try and get away from the guys who came out. That's my turn 4.
Okay, Grey Knight turn 5, possibly my last turn of the game. I've looked at 7 of the objectives, so I've got a good clue of where most of them are. So over here I tipped my hand and moved my dudes onto this one down here, so Paul may have figured out that one is there. In the centre, the Terminator seemed quite happy sitting there spewing out fire. They wiped out the 2-man Wraithguard squad this turn. They weren't planning on doing that, but the Storm Raven did such a good job on the 5-man Wraithguard squad with the Spirit Seer that they didn't need to fire that. I fired my 2 Mindstrike missiles, getting 2 hits on the Spirit Seer, so that killed him. And then I fired my bolt guns and my assault cannon at the Wraithguard. I had reroll saves on them due to the squad in the centre, but I don't actually think I needed to make him reroll saves. I think he just failed them all anyway with the wounds I got. The Cybolt ammo was obviously very helpful there. The multi-melter on the Storm Raven and the single melter gun that's remaining inside the building fired at the Doom Weaver at the back. Is it a Doom Weaver?
It's a Shadow Weaver.
Shadow Weaver.
His gun is a Doom Weaver.
Aha! But failed to hurt it with my melter. Over here, the Dread Knight, there was 1 Swooping Hawk left there, and there was the 1 Guardian jet bike over there. So I decided to take the sure thing, and I flamed the Swooping Hawk. Failed to kill him with a flamer, so I charged in and thumped him with a large Nemesis Dread Fist, or whatever it's called. Over here, these guys who had disembarked or run out of their crashed Chimera last turn moved over to here and opened fire on the jet bikes. They were then going to plan on charging afterwards. My Stormbolt and Flamed from the Jacaro managed to wipe one of them out, and he promptly failed his leadership check, so he has scarpered up the board to there. So it's looking reasonably good from a Grey Knight point of view.
Okay, Eldar turn 5. With only one fleeing jet bike and a Doom Weaver, it didn't take me very long to do. The jet bike managed to run back to here, tried to take a shot at this as it was fleeing, but missed. Well, I hit once and didn't do anything. The Shadow Weaver did the best it could by tank shocking the 2 people who were claiming this objective, managing to break them. They've fled back to this building over here. It wasn't in range. I really wanted to put a barrage template over here, but I just didn't have the range, unfortunately. It was about 52 or 53 or something, so I was quite a few 5 or so inches out of the way. Tried to drop a absolute desperation template in on the Terminators, but we scattered off, so it missed, and that was the end of the game. So in total, the Terminators were on an objective, as were the Jokero and friends. This one over here was a cunning bluff, but it was a bluff to no avail because I didn't have anything to try and take it with anyway. And I didn't realise that this was an objective, so that was a surprise. And then, as I think everybody knew, the one in the building over here was a real objective. This was one which neither of us looked at. There was an objective over here, and the statue was guarding nothing. And this one that I looked at over here was also nothing. So that's, let's see, you've got six victory points for objectives, and First Blood and Slay the Warlord. I don't think you've got Line Breaker there.
No, you took my line breakers off there.
So you get 8 points. I have got nothing.
Go on.
8 plays 0. Oh god, that was miserable. Yeah, so what did you think about the game, think about the mission and so on?
I actually really enjoyed it. I really like playing on the city fight. I mean, we agreed beforehand we'd play a city fight, so we both knew to take armies that
Could
were
play in the
usable in
city
it,
fight, yeah.
because there'd be more terrain. I really like the look of the board. It's a bit smashed up now.
Yeah, with dice everywhere and so on.
Dice everywhere.
Yeah.
But it looked really nice. As far as army went, I haven't played Grey Knights much in 6th edition. I haven't really played Grey Knights much since we went to a tournament a year or so ago, and everybody there played Grey Knights, and that kind of like put me off them. But I thought I'd give them a go. I really like the Terminator squad. They kind of moved into
They were
the
fantastic.
centre. And with their 2 psi cannons and all their lovely psychic powers they'd rolled up, I did really well on getting 2 misfortunes.
Yep.
They were just reaching out and causing me to kill something every turn.
Yeah, they were just a little unit, weren't they?
And the Storm Raven was putting out an ungodly amount of firepower with the Cybolt ammo.
Yeah.
And that was killing something every turn. And then the other stuff was just... In terms of the 2 Dread Knights were fantastic.
Yeah, that was what took up most of my firepower. Taking the first Dread Knight took up.
My ability to roll 2+ saves is legendary.
Yeah. Yes.
This one that came over here should have died at least 2 turns earlier.
Yeah, I think it took a turn or 2 turns, maybe longer than he should have done.
But overall, I was really pleased with the army. It worked well.
Yep.
What about yourself with the Eldar?
Well, I like all those units. I really like the Doom Weaver, the Shadow Weaver today. He was excellent.
Yeah, he did something effective more or less every turn, other than one turn where he tried for the centre.
Yeah, I should have read that Chimera early. And then that might have actually tipped your hand that was a bluff, because you probably would have started running for this objective, I imagine. Anyway, didn't do that. But otherwise, they were excellent. He was great in both fire modes. The Warp Spiders are fantastic. Yeah. Really flexible. Swooping Hawks are fantastic, really flexible. Kill 2 units.
I think I made a point this game of, because I agree, I think Warp Spiders and the Jet Bikes are awesome. I made a point of picking on those whenever I could. It was a choice of Wraith Guard or a tank or something. I went, no, I'm going to kill some Jet Bikes or I'm going to kill some Warp Spiders.
Yeah, that was definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah, it took away your flexibility.
Yeah, and the Wave Serpents and the Wraith Guard were very disappointing, but I think that was mostly I wasn't rolling, or you were. It was more that you were rolling well and I was rolling badly, I think.
I think also there's a bit of disparity between those 2 units together, because you wanted to keep your Wave Serpents back because you were trying to shoot at me. So you kept them at the back, so when I killed them, the Wraith Guard was stuck at the back of the board.
Yeah.
Whereas, say, if you'd have jetted forwards first.
It was still, I mean, they fired every round they were out.
Yeah.
Because
how you didn't kill the Storm Raven.
You'd come to me, so it wasn't really that much of a problem. But yeah, they should have taken down that Storm Raven, and they probably should have killed that Dread Knight a bit earlier as well. So they would have had a good game, I think. I'd like to try and make a more aggressive deck. Sorry, I've started playing Magic again. A more aggressive army list, where I'm moving my Wave Serpents forward and dropping off troops and doing rapid fire and all that kind of stuff. So I think that might be what I try next. Still trying out lots of different things with the new codex. I think this is my 4th game. I think I've got a win and 3 losses, which isn't the greatest.
No.
Okay, that's it for today, and look forward to another Team Clueless Battle Report coming soon.